Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist, here with some wisdom to start your day and week off well. And today I was guided, and this will fit right in with what our reading is today, which is kind of a hoot, to pick a chapter from Outrageous Openness. Morning, Cindy. Welcome, welcome. Outrageous Openness by Tosha Silver. The subtitle is Letting the Divine Take the Lead. Oh, and good morning to whomever else is here. Can't see who you are. But this title is, the number that came into my head as I was looking at chapters was 7. Good morning, Diane. There we go. Now I can see it's you. Was 7. So I went to chapter 7. And it's called The Holiday Emergency Survival Kit. And I'm like, what the heck? What does that have to do with right here, right now? But the subtitle of that chapter is The Inner Tug. On the post, I called it The Inner GPS, because that's kind of how I think of it. But she calls it The Inner Tug. And it fits very well with... once I read it, I think it'll fit very well with what we've been working on over time. So, she says, often the next right action in life can be felt as a palpable inner pull in almost any situation. You may not know what the correct route will be tomorrow, but in the moment, if you listen, you'll be shown step by step the way to go. Okay, that totally makes sense, right? With many people traveling during any holiday season, knowing how to honor this inner pull can be invaluable. So here's her story, and see if it fits for something that's going on in your life right now. I was flying during the Christmas week between Phoenix and Oakland. When I showed up at the gate for my Sunday flight, the airline announced they had overbooked. They were seriously angling for someone to give up her seat in exchange for a free voucher. But no one stepped forward, so they kept sweetening the deal. Soon they were offering 2 free round-trip tickets anywhere in the States, plus a meal and lodging for the night. They needed just one person, one single person, yet still no takers. Everyone wanted to rush home for the holidays. My inner propulsion to stand up and volunteer was so strong, I practically had to tie myself to my chair with my shawl to stay down. I just knew I couldn't sleep in Phoenix that night. My mind couldn't understand the power of this inner impulse. I had a class to teach Monday that couldn't be missed, plus a long-awaited doctor's visit. No way could I return home late, no matter how seductive the offer. Yet I kept feeling this ferocious pull, as if celestial angels themselves were trying to yank me standing. Maybe they were. I finally decided to surrender and trust my gut. But just as I jumped up, another guy rushed forward. To great applause, he became the night's hero. 20 minutes later, we all boarded the plane, leaving him to his lonely dinner and night at the airport Holiday Inn. I was in the last row with an empty seat beside me while we awaited the final passenger. Imagine my surprise when who should come bounding down the aisle but the volunteer himself, pumping his fists in the air like Rocky Balboa. Everyone laughed and applauded once more. He sat down next to me. Hey, what'd I miss? I asked. What happened? Dude, just unfrickin' believable luck, he laughed. In the final instant, this lady got a call that her cat had escaped. She gave up her seat to go find him. Meanwhile, the airline decides to reward me for volunteering. I got to keep the 2 free tickets and still be home tonight. I was truly happy for him. But when the universe placed him beside me, I finally understood why my body had been pulling me up, despite all logic. I just hadn't listened. So, I think there's so much in here that's really cool to focus on. The first thing is, do you trust that inner guidance? When you get the nudge, go this way, not that way. Stop here. Call so-and-so. When you get those nudges, do you listen to them? Do you pay attention to them? And even prior to that, do you slow down enough to get the nudges. They're there. They're always communicating with us. They're always letting us know. We don't always listen. And we let, like she did, we let our conscious mind, that 5% of our total consciousness, talk us out of stuff that would be, excuse me, in our highest and best good to do, or to be, or to think, or whatever. So, do you listen? Do you still yourself enough to actually hear the inner guidance? And when you hear it, do you listen to it? Do you listen to it? So let's just do that right now. I want you to close your eyes. Take some breaths. Nice, deep, relaxing breaths. And I want you to think about a situation or circumstance right now, right here, that you're not quite sure what to do about. And just breathe into that. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to change it. You're just being the curious observer of it. Excuse me. Just breathing and observing, being present with that situation or circumstance. Again, not doing anything. And for most of us, that's really hard. Our conscious mind, our little ego self wants to jump in there and figure something out and get on with a plan and all that stuff. Set that all aside for a couple of breaths. And now as you're breathing, I want you to just turn this over. Okay, Spirit, give me guidance on this. What would you have me do? What direction would you like me to go? I'm open to the guidance. Keep breathing. And if nothing comes to you immediately, do not worry about that. Remember, we have that divine timing thing operating too. Set your intention right here, right now, in this gap, in this space, that you're holding space for the right answer to come to you in divine right timing. All right? So it doesn't have to be answered immediately. It's you've now set the intention and created the fertile ground into which that answer can be seeded. Okay? Another breath. On the exhale, letting it go. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So you have now planted that seed, and we're going to see when it comes up. It might be like a radish and it comes up really fast. Or it might be more like something that takes a whole lot longer. But you've planted it, so now you can let it go. Periodically you can tend it by watering it. But notice that the watering of it is different than the planting of it. You've already planted it. You don't have to dig it up to see if it's doing anything. Just leave it be. But you tend it, so you water it in that fertile space that you've created for the answer to come. This is a different way of problem solving than our typical, I'll Google it, I'll research it, I'll ask so-and-so, I'll call for advice, whatever. But this is a valid option, and it's a highly successful option when you practice with it and learn to heed the guidance. I have one friend who says that for her, it feels like an inner pendulum. She can feel a shift in a direction where she's meant to go. For me, it's more like, I hate to use the word nagging, but that's the word that's coming. Nagging, repetitive, go this way, go this way, go this way. That just sort of keeps repeating until I go that way. So what about for you? How do you know that you're getting that little inner nudge? Where does it come from? Breathe into it. Just allow, just holding that space. So I think another piece of this can be just enjoying where things are at right now. If it's fallow time, or you've planted and you have to wait until it's ready to bloom, what do you do to bide the time? What do you do to enjoy the waiting? The tending can be a great way to enjoy the waiting. Okay, I'm going to water this idea a little bit. Let's just see what happens. Oh, there's a weed coming up. Let me pull that out. Tending. All right? So that's your mission for today. You can do this with other things that you are waiting for answers on too. Imagine that planting them in that fertile gap and tending them and seeing what happens. The guidance will be there. The guidance will be there. And when you feel the nudge, it's pretty unmistakable. It oftentimes can be subtle because it's not, here's the whole path to get to the end. It's, here's your next step. So that next step nudge can be more subtle than the whole map dropping upon you. Okay? But just take that next step. Sometimes when you take a next step, a couple more steps will be revealed. So just tend to each one as you go and see where it leads you. So that's your mission for today. Have an awesome Monday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow we do have a moon ceremony. If any of you are available and interested in attending that, it's kind of a nice way to assist with all of this that we talk about. It's a twice a month deal, new moon and full moon. So if you're interested, check out my events and you'll find it there. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are.